I would like to acknowledge all Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander peoples, past, present and emerging, as I am recording on Wurundjeri country. Thank you for joining us.
Marmalade and coffee black. Lesson plans are on the stack. Ready for the students' track. Gonna find our groove.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Stranger in the Staff Room, where myself, Zoe Zammit, or as the kiddos will soon to call me, Miss Zammit, I'm a first-time teacher and I share lifelong stories, including where the hell I've been. If you are a long-time listener of the podcast, you'll know that I took a couple of weeks away to go on holidays. So I went to Phuket for 10 days and I went to Lakes Entrance for a weekend. It was so much fun. We're going to get into both holidays in just a sec. But before I do, I just want to let you know that it's not a big deal or anything, but if you have left your Christmas shopping to the last minute like I usually do, don't freak out, because if you have that one teacher friend that you're like, what the do I get them? I've got you sorted. On my Etsy shop, all items, so the Teacher Detox Toolkit in the physical and the digital form, are 15% off until Christmas Day. So I don't know what you're doing still listening. Well, I really want you to still listen. But if you have the chance, go to the Etsy shop and you'll automatically have the sale uploaded onto your payment. So yeah, get a sneaky deal while you're at it. So yeah, although I did a bit of relaxation recently, it is still a very busy time with Christmas and New Year's coming up and the start of a new school year, which I will talk about in the next episode because I've gotten some information on what I'm teaching next year. So if you want to find that out, I would suggest following this podcast if you are listening on Spotify and subscribing to the YouTube channel if you're listening through there. Anyway, enough about the future, always me thinking about the future. Let's talk about the recent past, my holidays, and what I've learnt about certain cultures and friends of mine and their education experience. So do whatever you do to get relaxed, get all cuddled up with a blanket, or get yourself a nice tea or coffee, and let's get into it.
Through the highs and through the lows, we're the ones who always show. Building worlds and making glow the dreams that they pursue.
Guess who's back? Back again. Zoe's back. Tell your teacher friends. I'll go home. Anyway, so to get us started, I am going to talk about Thailand first. For those of you who do not know me outside of the podcast, I love to travel, and now that I am a fresh young adult doing fresh young adult things, I have made it my mission to travel to as many places as I can before I settle down with my partner and have kids and all that. That's probably going to happen, hopefully, in the next 10 years. So last year I studied abroad in Rome for 2 months, which meant I got to explore parts of Europe, and that was super, super amazing. And I truly believe that although I am a teacher and I try to teach as much as I can in the classroom, and your students teach you things in the classroom, there are some things that you have to learn through experience, and one of those things is traveling to learn about different cultures firsthand. I have been to Bali and I expected something similar, and yes, there were similarities, but two completely different experiences. And I'll be honest, it was a little bit of a culture shock. Even though I was in one of the more westernized parts of Thailand, Phuket, I realized how big feminism is where I live and how lucky I am to be in a place where I don't get catcalled every 5 seconds, I'm going to be honest. But in terms of touristy things, it was amazing. We went and explored all of Phuket City. We went to Phi Phi Island, which is beautiful and was probably one of my highlights of the trip. We went down to the water park, which is only half an hour from where we were staying. That was amazing. And we went and helped bathe elephants, and that was really cute, and that was so friendly and so cute. All that touristy stuff was amazing, and I could not recommend it more. But yeah, those everyday sort of interactions made me realize how lucky I am to sort of be in my little feminist bubble, I guess. And it made me reassess a lot about my mental health. But this next month that I have off, so I finish my casual job next week, And then from then on, I have about a month off, and then I start full-time teaching at the end of January. So this trip has taught me that in this month, there's some serious self-improvement that I've got to do. I'm really excited to have you along for the journey. I feel like this podcast really helps me strive towards something when things don't really seem achievable. So that's where we're at. Now, when we went on the tour across Phuket on our first day, we had a very beautiful tour guide, and his name was Sen, and he was very knowledgeable, and we went past some schools. After I told him I was a teacher, he started talking to me about the schools in Phuket. I thought it'd be something to share with you, so here we go. At least in Phuket, the system in terms of at what age you go to, what year level and things like that, is very similar to Australia. So from about age 2, they're expected to do like a childcare, and then from age 5, they're expected to go to school. And they are expected to go to school until they are 15, and then they can go off and work, or they can continue optional schooling. So very similar to Australia. Kids usually go into early childhood education around the ages 2 to 4 mark, and then from age 5 onwards they will go into primary school. And then the only difference there is that in Australia, the age has now changed from, I think, 15 years to 17 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was what it was like when I was in school. But you couldn't just leave school to go to work. You actually had to put your case out and be like, this is the job I've got lined up. This is my boss. Here is my reference. Da-da-da-da-da. And then the school would have to approve about whether you're leaving or not. That's what it's like in the public sector in Australia. I only went to the public sector in Australia. And that's the similarities between that and Phuket. They also have their version of private schools, which are international schools in Phuket. I went to an international school during my time in Europe, over in Italy. That was very, very incredible to see. Those kids are so smart. Like, they'd be talking to their teacher in English, and then to another teacher in Italian, and then to themselves in Arabic. Like, they were using so much of their brains at the same time, and the psych nerd in me was like, oh. So I have no doubt that it would be very similar in Phuket. But of course, that costs a lot of money to send your child to a private school in Phuket, like it does in Australia, except, of course, Australia is a more wealthy country overall. Where does the money in Phuket sort of come from? They are run by a monarchy, so the funds come from the royal family, but it's almost like a trickle-down system. So the royal family almost prioritizes Bangkok because that is the main area of Thailand, and not necessarily fix, but use their monetary resources there, and then whatever's left over goes to Phuket, which I found really interesting because I'm not too sure, to be honest, how government in terms of finance works here, but I would assume that since we have state politics, it wouldn't be a trickle-down system in that way. It makes me wonder whether going to Bangkok to see the difference in education system would be worth my time, considering they almost call dibs on the financial resources. I'd be very curious to see where the money goes to there. And speaking about economy, and like I said before, kids in Phuket need to go to school until they're 15, and then they can go and work. So 80% of the work that comes out of Phuket is hospitality and tourism, which doesn't come as a shock, but it did shock the nation when it came to COVID, much like similar countries like Bali and things like that. And then the second most populated industry is exports, which I found very interesting, considering that Australia is really pushing for locality and like promoting small business and all that, which I am all here for and I love it. But it's very interesting when you go to another part of the world and they rely on you not relying on small business. It really put into perspective those kinds of things. Let's move on to Lakes Entrance.
Through the highs and through the lows, we're the ones who always show, building worlds and making glow the dreams that they pursue.
Alrighty, so the not as exciting lakes entrance. So that is a part in Victoria, near beaches and obviously lakes. It is near the Barnsdale, Traralgon sort of way, if you're from Victoria or are familiar with those parts of Victoria. A couple of my uni friends and we went down there for a couple of days. Yeah, just to sort of as a last hurrah, I think, while I'm graduating, or just a little bit of a, hey, we get along, let's go celebrate. I think it was just like a really nice thing to do, especially because one of our really close friends will be moving to the UK next year. So it's nice to make some memories with her before she heads off. I'm going to miss her so much. Like, it's insane. So while I was there, I thought, why not try my hand at interviewing? Yeah, so now I'm going to show you 3 of my darling friends. Well, one is my partner and 2 of my friends. And they talk about their schooling journey and how they got to the university degrees that they're doing now. And that's the reason that we met, because we all go to the same university. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to hear other people's school experiences, because my school experience led me to be a teacher, whereas these people led them to psychology, nursing, and law. So the exact same sort of location put us into many different directions. So have a listen to them and let me know what you think. Okay. Hi, Nami.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Zoe?
I'm going all right. Okay, so what are you doing with yourself at the moment?
Big question.
I know. Hitting with the hard stuff straight away.
I've just finished up my Bachelor of Psychology.
Oh, so, you finished?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got honours next year, but
okay.
For now, I'm done.
Congrats.
And we are currently on vacation in Lakes Entrance.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Did any of your teachers influence you to go into psychology, or what was that journey like?
Yeah, well, I actually did have one teacher, Mr. Dalton. Oh, actually, am I not allowed to name them?
Up to you. That's completely up to you.
Well, I named him.
There you go. We named and shamed.
He was my religion and psychology teacher in year 11 and 12, I think. Yep. And he had a soft spot for me, and I thought that was really sweet. And that's, I think, started my interest in psychology. Yep. But yeah.
Fair enough. That's such a weird mix, religion and psych.
I had a few religion and psych teachers that did this. I mean, they're kind of interconnected if you think about it.
Like, yeah, I've done a couple of, like, positive psychology units, and that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Was he your favourite teacher, or was he, like, one of many?
He was one of many. Yep. My favourite, I'm going to name and shame her. Mm-hmm. Well, not shame, but Miss Everett. She was the best teacher I ever had. She was my literature teacher for, like, 3 years. And she was great. Like, she was very friendly. She cared about us. It was a very small class. It was like 7 people. So we all got to know each other well. And yeah, she was great. Yeah,
I love those smaller classes. Like my last placement, the most kids that I had in a class was 15. Yeah, and it was just so sweet because you can just get to know each person. And especially if you had her for 3 years, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, she was great. Like, she knew every one of us. And I think she did a great job at maintaining the boundary between being a teacher and your friend. Yes. So, like, she got that covered.
Love it. No, that's awesome. It is a very difficult thing to do, but once you've got it, you're set. Yeah. You're set, 100%. Okay, last question. Your school experience, describe it in 3 words. And it could be, yeah, you haven't named school, so you can name and shame. Like,
wait, for high school?
Either or.
Okay, I'll say high school. Yeah. This is such a...
It's a huge question.
Okay, 3 words. A word for, like, growth, because I underwent a lot of growth there, so there's that. It was very religious, personally, because it was a Catholic school. And all I can think of is that it was really red, because it was all made of red brick. So everywhere I went, it was just, like, red everywhere.
You know what? It's really funny, because, like, we'll probably, hopefully, have teachers from, like, all different countries listening to this, so they're going to be like, red? And that's literally how I would, like, me, it'd be blue. Like, everything was blue at ours, and it was all different shades, and I'm like, can we just, like, pick a different colour, please?
Yeah, I'm so sick of looking at red brick. Like, that's what I've been looking at for the last, like, 10 years. I'm sick of it.
Correct. No, fair enough. I like that. Thank you so much. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Zoe.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm going all right. We've had a massive feed. I'm sweating balls.
Me too. It's so humid.
It is. Big time. Okay, so What are you doing with yourself at the moment?
I'm currently studying nursing.
Ooh, was there a teacher that sort of got you into the health side of things, or was that on your own path? Like, what was your journey?
I definitely think there's like a few teachers, definitely at the sport and like health development classes that kind of like put the little seeds in the way. I feel there's definitely teachers that pushed me to go like open days that definitely like got me to like interested in it.
That's really true. Like, open days are such a big part, but we sort of skim over them. So yeah, for sure. So was there any sort of teachers that stood out in your teaching experience? Like, do you have a couple of favorites, or?
I definitely do have like two major favorites that pop to mind. My year 6 teacher, he's definitely one of my favorites. Like, he knew me so well, and just like the connection we had was really good. And also my year 7 homeroom teacher, God bless her. Like, I cried when she retired. Like, oh, like she came up to me, hugged me and everything. Like, just had beautiful relationships. Yeah.
I love the little oldies. My prep teacher, she was like going on to retirement, and I was like, this sweet soul. Like, and it's really cute because a lot of the people that I've interviewed have done, like, their favourites have been high school teachers, so it's very cute that you've done like that, junior. Yeah. It's very nice. Very nice. So with that in mind, what was your school experience in 3 words?
I've always gone to small schools, so I feel like I've always experienced such like a community-driven thing, just like encouragement to do things outside the box. Which is definitely not 3 words, but that's my school experience.
Let's call it outside the box. 3 words.
Yeah, definitely.
Nailed it. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Chelsea. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
My name's Pearce.
Hi, Pearce. People would know you from the 3 out of 5 GTPA episode when I was having a little bit of a mentee bee. What were your thoughts that day?
Gee whiz.
Safe answer. Okay. What are you doing with yourself now?
I'm about to start my 3rd year of my law degree.
Lovely. Were there any teachers that inspired you to get into that by any chance?
Definitely my legal studies teacher from year 12. When she begun teaching in, I think, 2020, I was in year 10 and she took year 10 legal studies. Very green, obviously very new to the industry, yet she showed that anything was possible through being able to do something that follows your passion. So her passion was law, and she didn't quite like the law industry itself. So instead of keeling over, she thought, well, I'll go and get my teaching degree, and then I'll teach what I preach and teach what I can't do. And I admire her for that, and being able to see how she's always made something out of next to nothing, gives me hope as well, and allowed me to confidently follow law, knowing that there's a backup, and maybe it's not that bad.
Aww, everyone cue love hearts. It's very cute. No, that actually is very cute. Did you feel like her passion was contagious in the classroom?
Well, how'd I put it? Miss Cinderperuma was very firm but fair.
Mm-hmm. Typical legal studies?
Yes, well, if you mucked up, she'd have a giggle, but then it would be none of that. But she also understood that what we were learning may come across as very dry and boring, so she did her best to make it interesting. And that particularly stood out again because she was able to take something that most teachers would just be inflexible with and make it something that a bunch of 16, 17, 18-year-old boys could willingly look forward to learning about in the classroom.
That's fair enough. So boys, you went to a boys' school?
Yes, I went to St. Joseph's College in Ferntree Gully, not Geelong, in Ferntree Gully. And
I didn't even know there was 2. There you go.
Yeah, there is.
Was your legal studies teacher your favourite teacher?
Gee.
She's up there by the sounds of things, but is she your favourite?
I've got 2 favourite teachers.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was Miss Meg Newman, who taught economics, and she came on in 2021, and it was her first year of teaching. And to be fair, she'd done her Masters in Economics and then worked at the RBA for a few years, and actually started teaching when she was 27, so still young.
Oh, good on her, yeah.
Yeah, but she had all this experience of how economics worked and the broader picture of it, still getting her feet on working it out. And I think RU level 2022 was the year where she really hit her stride, because she then got an offer to go to some elite all-girls school in Camberwell,
Wow.
Yeah, and her and Miss Cinder Paruma were, they became really close friends, and I remember I was, ran into Sandy at Knox or something.
Sandy.
Yeah, no, I ran into it at Knox. I said, how's Meg Newman going? It's like, yeah, actually we caught up the other night and everything, and, it's good to see them make friends amongst the staff, because then you know that they're exchanging ideas and almost creating, you could say, consistency across the board. And even though legal and economics are two completely different subjects, good to see that, behind the scenes, the brains are all working together.
And it shows also, like, from a teacher's perspective, the like-mindedness of the school. Like, they're actually creating a community. Like, it'd be different if the teachers only saw each other at school. Like, that they can work together in different settings. So, yeah. Can you describe your school in 3 words?
Well, I've been thinking about this, and the school itself, it was definitely nurturing. It was respectful in the sense that it was respectful of what we as individuals needed and as a cohort, especially during COVID.
Yep.
That changed things a bit, and what certain year levels needed compared to others. And third, I'd say it was definitely strength building and diversifying, which I know isn't really 3 words, but
We'll hyphenate them, it's fine.
I think that speaks for itself. Yeah.
Fair enough. No, that's really sweet to hear. So I'm glad that you had a good high school experience and some nice teachers along the way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, that does all right. Anyway, thank you so much. How cool are my friends? I know. I'm a lucky gal. I loved interviewing. I got a little bit nervous, even though they're my close friends. I got really nervous to sort of ask them about their lives because I didn't want to strike any sweet spots or anything. But everyone was really keen and eager to talk about their experience. So I really loved that. And I hope you do too. Because, drum roll please, something like that. I will be interviewing teachers in the new year as a way for first-time teachers to share lifelong stories like myself. And I'm so excited to get to know each and every one of you that apply. I will be putting the form that you need to fill in to express your interest on my Linktree. So that will be in the show notes below, as well as every other way that you can connect. There will be a link to the Linktree. Answer the questions there. And if you are lucky enough to be an interviewee, I will send you an email and we can organise scheduling and things like that. You don't have to be from Australia. We can do it online. But yeah, I'm so excited to get to know each and every one of you. The only eligibility criteria is you have to be in the education industry for more than 12 months. So that could include placements. It could include being a learning support officer. It could be in and out of the education industry for a year. It's just at least 1 year. So then you have those lifelong stories of being that first-time teacher. So I'm very excited to be doing that. And until then, I hope you look after yourselves in this very, very busy, silly season. And it is Stranger in the Staff Room, over and out.
Teaching vibes were in the air, sharing knowledge everywhere, guiding young minds with such care. This is what we do.